Hi, Professor Massimo. Hope all is well. This is my journal assignment. So let's go ahead and get started. Looking at question number one. What theory or concept did you find most interesting, and how did you or will you apply it to an interpersonal relationship? Now, to answer this question, I would say the most interesting theory that I found would be the social comparison theory from chapter two. And reason being is because that one just stuck out to me the most because I feel like it was most relatable. And I believe that it's probably one of the most relevant theories that could probably be proven to be in effect within society. It's just so accurate that us as human beings have a tendency to compare ourselves to others and use others as measuring sticks, like how the textbook refers to, as sort of like as a guide of how we should be and how we should measure up and evaluate our own personal skills. So that really stuck out to me. And a reason how a way I can apply this to an interpersonal relationship can be in any type of mentor slash like teacher role that I may have in the future as a student or someone who's being taught or someone who's being led. I feel like for someone that I look up to or someone that I admire, instead of using them as a measuring stick, instead of comparing myself to them and wanting to be just like them, I should understand that we're all different, we're all unique, and I should just kind of humble myself and just learn as much as I can without wanting to be just like that particular person. So moving on to number two, identify and discuss three concepts or skills you can take away from this course and apply them to future presentations and overall life. Be specific in your explanation using examples and details. So the first concept that I have taken away from this class will be nonverbal communication from chapter six. Uh, I could definitely be more mindful of that in my interpersonal relationships and communication that I have both professionally and privately with friends and family and stuff like that. So just being more aware of nonverbal communication and body language and just be more aware of the audience or the particular person that I'm talking to because nonverbal communication is just as significant as verbal communication. And I didn't really process that as much as I do now since I've taken this course. I mean, I always knew nonverbal communication was a factor, but not as significant as the textbook mentions as I came to realize now. So just being more aware of nonverbal communication and nonverbal cues. The number two will be self-image from chapter two. I believe that that is very important because in order for me to have healthy relationships and to be able to communicate effectively and get my point across effectively, I believe I have to know who I am as an individual first before I could have any type of healthy relationships. And just to have a proper and healthy mental picture painted in my head of who I am, what do I bring to the table, what attributes do I have, what strengths do I have, even what weaknesses do I have, just to be more in tune with who I am personally. I believe that will lead to just more healthy relationships and better communication styles and techniques moving forward. Number three will be the selective attention from chapter three. And this one really stuck out to me. And I want to be more aware and more mindful of this and to make sure that I'm not only listening and paying attention to things that I choose to put my attention towards. I want to make sure that I'm aware to everything and that I'm just in tune with what's going on in society and what's going on with my friends and my family. And I'm not only focusing on what I'm expecting or what kind of what I want to focus on as an individual. I just want to be more in tune with everybody. So moving on to question number three, what do you think you can improve in the relationship now that you have an understanding of various interpersonal concepts? Um, I believe that I would say communication management. Now, as in my current position at work, I'm the training manager, so I have a lot of conversations that I take place in, both when I'm training someone, when I'm doing conference calls, when I'm in meetings. So I believe just me having those skills that I've learned from this class will help me to just better maintain those conversations moving forward, and conversations that I'm going to have in the future, just to better maintain the conversation to make sure that I'm having a healthy and effective conversation, and that can entail both conversational turn taking, which basically is just I'm making sure that we're both switching roles when I'm having a one-on-one conversation, that I'm both talking, but I'm also making sure that I'm having opportunities just to sit back and listen and absorb what the conversation is consisting of. I also want to be more mindful of closed and open questions during the conversation, to make sure that I'm trying to avoid closed-ended questions, so I can make sure that I keep the conversation going, and by adding open-ended questions to be able to keep a healthy and both effective communication going back and forth between either a group of people or just one-on-one communication. Also, body language, kind of going back to number two with the nonverbal communication, being more aware of the body language of my audience. I could feed off of that, see what kind of feedback I'm getting without them even having to speak to me. So being more mindful of my audience's body language, in the sense of maybe I need to pick up my tone of voice. Maybe I need to kind of be more interactive. Maybe I just need to stop the conversation, period. So just be more in tune and aware of body language, and also different listening techniques. Also, we all listen differently. So I want to make sure that I'm mindful of that everybody may have a different listening technique, and they may not all absorb information the same way or be so in tune in the conversation because they just listen differently. So being more aware of that, and now being mindful of that, I believe it will be extremely beneficial for me moving forward in my career and moving forward in my educational career. Now, looking at number four, if I refer back to my first discussion post, um, regarding the two goals that I wanted to accomplish in this course, the first one, if was to improve both in my communication skills and in my listening techniques. I would definitely say that I have reached both of those goals just after um, reading about all the different listening techniques and all the different communication styles, and really just having my own personal study and reading the textbook and being able to apply those aspects to my own personal interpersonal relationships. It has been beneficial to me, and I've obtained some skills that I'll be able to utilize moving forward, both professionally and in my educational career. So that goal has definitely been accomplished. And my second goal was to obviously pass this course, which I did. So that's a good thing. So both of my goals were reached. And looking at number five, if I were to take this class again and have the opportunity to do it all over again, I would change one thing, which it would be to stay on top of my discussion posts. Now, this is my first time taking a full 16-week course fully online. So I wasn't used to the whole discussion post weekly plus student responses. So that was different for me. And if I'm being totally honest, towards the end of the semester, I did lose interest and kind of lost focus on those, and I fell a little bit behind. So if I could do this class all over again, I would be more on top of that. And even moving forward, I know next semester all courses are going to be taught online again. So obviously, that seems like the discussion boards are just a main component of a full online course. So I need to just be more self-disciplined with that, and making sure that I'm managing my time well, and that I'm being mindful of all the discussion boards that we have. So I would do that all over again. The reason why I took a 16-week course with only 5 meetings is simply because I'm already an overload student. I have 15 units, and two of my courses meet Monday through Thursday. They're both a 5 unit course. So I spend a lot of time on Zoom already as is in lecture time and on lab time. So when I seen that COM 113 was offered for only 5 required meetings, I jumped on that immediately, just so I didn't have to spend my whole life on Zoom. So that was awesome. I'm glad that the communication department at Loney College offers that to students. It's a great way to take this class, both self-paced and kind of self-taught, because with communication, I believe you could do that if you're self-disciplined and you're kind of if you're understanding the material that's being taught to you. and still being able to meet with the class and meet with you 5 times a semester, that was still beneficial because we were able to check in and still see each other face to face for 5 times. So that was awesome. So I would definitely do it all over again. If I could take another course in the future, both a 16-week course with only 5 required meetings, I would do it. Now, if I could offer any advice to incoming COM students, or especially COM 113 students, I would say to utilize Justin to their advantage. He's definitely a valuable resource to us as students. Uh, just the connection that he has with you. He's a great resource to use to get in contact with you, to answer some general questions regarding assignments, our content related questions. So definitely just use him, but get comfortable with him. I'd never used him. I didn't start really reaching out to him towards the end of the semester, and I wish I would have honestly started to use him to my advantage since the beginning of the semester. So I would definitely recommend that incoming students will get comfortable with Justin and use him to their advantage. And also pay attention to this class also. I could sit here and honestly say that this communication class has been one of the most valuable courses that I've taken at Ohlone College. As a psychology major, I could honestly say if I could change my major to anything else, it would be comm. This course is different. Apply yourself to this class and come expecting to change the way you communicate with people, to change the way that you listen to people. If you come expecting and you totally apply yourself to this class and not just be so nonchalant and just take this class as any other 3-unit course, I believe if you avoid that type of mentality and you come expecting and you totally apply yourself, this class will be one of the most beneficial courses you ever take in your college career. So definitely I recommend applying yourself, get involved, get interested, read the textbook, use use your professor, use your TA to your advantage and your classmates, and I promise you, you'll definitely learn something from this class. Um, and my overall biggest takeaway from this class is simply the importance of communication. I never really never really clicked in my brain how important communication was until I took this class. And especially when I did the extra credit with the alumni, with the Ohlone College Communication Department alumni, and how they were sharing all of the different career paths that they have taken with a comm degree. There was one who was an HR manager. Another person went into law school. So it's a real versatile degree. And that was just mind blowing to me. And super cool to just learn more about communication in that aspect. And another takeaway is also I just want to be more adaptable in my interpersonal relationships and my communication styles. I want to be able to adapt more to people's listening techniques, adapt more to people's communication styles, and just be more adaptable in that sense so we could have healthy relationships moving forward and I'll be able to communicate effectively. So that concludes my video. Thank you, Dr. Massimo, for a great semester, and I wish you all the best.